We've already introduced our hub team many times. Just to let you know, you might say, hey, wait, Steph's supposed to be talking. Steph is on vacation, taking a well-deserved vacation with her sweet little baby and her family. And so you get to listen to me talk today. I thank our hub and everybody here we've been great with. We've been going through things and have talked about a lot. We have difficult conversations to talk about today. The other pivot, because hey, is that John Tinsel was supposed to be presenting for us, but unfortunately was held up in his travels back and is not able to join us. So we are lucky to have someone else that will be presenting his slides and leading that conversation, and I'll introduce Twinkle Shaki in a little bit. Next week, we will start our series on trauma. So invite everyone to join us for those great conversations. Okay, I had said this before, but just a reminder, if you need social work credit, please email Jesse your name, organization title, contact information, and license number so that we can make sure we get you registered with our College of Social Work, who is providing our continuing education credit for this. Okay, everyone else will provide credit to everyone and those who complete the sessions and complete our evaluations. So we ask you to please just remember to complete those evaluations for us. Everything else, we typically do not distribute the certificates until the very end of our ECHO sessions. But if you will need a certificate, let us know so we can make sure to get those ready for you. Our agenda, kind of same old, other than what we did decide. In addition to John being out, we've had a number of other folks that are not able to make it, both with our spokes and people being on vacation, as well our participants, our spokes, and our hub group. So I think we're in the nature of our case, we're not going to do a breakout group today for the case. We're going to stay in our large group. Let's start talking about having difficult conversations. As I said, unfortunately, John, who typically does this talk for us, is out. But we want to give him credit because he has done a lot of work with these slides, and so we give him credit as the fabulous infant and early childhood mental health consultant that he is. But we are lucky enough to have Twinkle Shaki with us today to present, a longtime collaborator of John's and myself. Twinkle is the co-founder and the director of Moms to Be with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. Moms to Be is a community-based group education program working with pregnant moms to have healthy babies in Central Ohio and aided the areas with the highest rates of infant mortality. And they're now moving to Dayton virtually. Prior to her work at Ohio State, she worked at Nationwide Children's Hospital for 20 years in numerous roles, helping babies and young children in the community. She has a master's degree in early childhood special education and a certificate in infant mental health. And with that, I want to welcome Twinkle. Twinkle, thank you so much. In addition to John being the master in difficult conversations, I know that Twinkle is as well. And so we are very fortunate to have her talking with us today.
Thank you, Andrea. I struggle with this difficult conversation a lot. And I love having the ability to talk through with you because I feel like today we all do something to get through or to survive when these come up. Sometimes we have a little planning in advance. Sometimes they just pop right into us. If you'll go back to the objectives, I'll do the objectives in just a sec. So as we talk about today, I'm going to ask you questions because I want to learn alongside you. What works for you, we might not have thought of, but we're all trying to do the best we can for the families we serve. And so I hope today is very interactive. I hope if you're not comfortable talking out, I hope you just write it in the chat because there's so many bright people on this call. And if we get to raise the bar together, I feel like we'll get there a lot sooner than if we just keep quiet and think something to ourselves. So for our learning objectives today, we hope to discuss the challenges and the stigmas that families face related to parenting, substance use disorder, addiction, and NAS. Describe strategies from a strength-based approach, which I know we all work on daily, to assist with difficult conversations to facilitate partnerships with our families, and to define difficult conversations, to identify at least 2 activities to prepare yourself for a difficult conversation, and to describe at least 2 attitudes and 2 actions to adopt to successfully navigate difficult conversations. Now, when I think like, what is a difficult conversation? This is one of those topics where I don't think, and I think I can just speak for the whole group, every single one of us, unless today is your first day and you've never had a difficult conversation, have experienced this. Like, nod your head. Is that true? Has everyone had a difficult conversation? Okay. Now, while we're talking through this in the chat, if you'll just type one difficult conversation for you. Now, we all come at this differently. So we have difficult conversations in our personal life. We have difficult situations with our schooling, but think about the families we get to serve. And so we're going to come at this lots of different ways, but I just want to hear, like, when you think about difficult conversations, what's like the first thing that pops into your mind? Children's services, yes. Oh my gosh, saying that telling the parent that their child might be delayed, especially at a young age. Oh, delayed signs of autism, both of those are giving bad news, yes. How do you manage your own stress and control? Yes, yes, yes. We're all on the same page with this. Oh, yes. Neurally compromised. Yes, yes, yes. Telling a family their child qualifies for yes. Behaviors that can be perceived. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we are all on the same page here in that I don't know if we have more than average, but I feel like the younger we work with someone, the more challenging our conversations are, because we're struggling with families that are struggling. And how do we break the news, or how do we share the news? And so with these difficult conversations, we've all had them. We've all tried to avoid them or push them back. We all felt anxious about them. Somehow, some way, one way or the other, we've all survived them. So now let's get into this. Let's dig a little deeper into this difficult conversation. So the definition of this is a difficult conversation is any situation where needs, wants, opinions, or perceptions of the involved parties are diverse. This is the tricky part for me. With their feelings and emotions running strong. Usually, the reason behind such strong feelings and emotions is that they have a lot at stake and they dread the consequences, such as the conflict. So I'm going to use a couple stories to illustrate the difficult situations that I've got to work with. Now, I say I get to work with my families because I absolutely love my job. The moms that I get to work with are pregnant. So when they come into Moms to Be, the situation of being pregnant is like our common bond to get through the program. So as you think about this, many of you work with older children or babies who've been exposed in utero. Many of us have the opportunities to work with them after the pregnancy piece. So as we think through this, I want you to wonder about what could have happened different, what conversations, because I'm the one that gets to have some of those conversations with moms. And sometimes I get a little bit of leeway in that I might get them earlier in their pregnancy, and sometimes I might get them on the day they deliver. It just depends. So that relationship piece, it's essential, because when you have difficult conversations and you know someone, they know what to expect because they've been with you long enough to kind of know your style. They know if you have eye contact, they know if you speak quickly or slowly, they know you. But in the beginning, sometimes people don't know us, and we have to have a difficult conversation like right from the start, which is even more tricky. So we're going to talk through a few scenarios, but please, 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 if something comes up, shout it out, because I want to hear this from you. This is a give and take kind of presentation. So what do we do to prepare for a difficult conversation? Well, if we have the time to prepare, we can take a minute to breathe. This is the tricky one. We can tame our ego. Now, my friend John Kensel made these slides up. And so when he says Q-tip it, that means to quit. What do you think that T's for? Taking it personally. Okay, I'm gonna have to raise my hand and confess right here off the bat because I sometimes do that. Yes, Michelle, quit taking it personally. It's so hard. And I have issues with this. So I'm just going to tell you straight up because I sometimes internalize things that aren't even really mine. And I wonder what I could have done differently. I'm constantly, I'm my own worst critic when it comes to if the results or if the conversation's steering a different way, I keep checking myself. But sometimes it's not me. Sometimes I have to just back up a bit. If I have time to write it down, I can usually think through it. If I have time to role play it before it comes up, it's great. It works out. I try to push it off, but it always creeps up on me. So when I think about how can I get ready? What if it just comes right before you? So I'm going to tell you about a mom who was pregnant, who walked into Moms to Be, and it's a program where you don't have to pre-register. And this mom walked in right off the street. And the people who are registering her, my team is usually amazing and phenomenal. They ask, "Hi, is this your first time?" And they usually answer, and then they say, "Welcome." And this time they scooted back a bit. And that's so not like our team to push back. So I said, okay, something's not right from the beginning with the people that I work with. And I look, and this mom is in constant movement. So her body will not stop. She can't stop. She's trying to stop, but there's just a lot of movements going around with her head. And it's like almost like a dance shuffle. And so as they scooted back, I went to her. Mind you, I didn't have time to pause. I didn't have an ego at that point. I didn't even have a pencil. There was no procrastinating. We had to help her right when she came in. And I said, "Hi." And she said, "Pregnant, stay the whole time, get a $5 gift card." And I said, "That's right. We're glad to have you. And every time you come, we give you a $5 gift card. Stay the whole time, sit down, can't sit down." And I said, "Oh my goodness. Well, you're more than welcome to move around here. You don't have to sit down. Let's just get you registered." So we just got her name, not much more than that. And the whole time I'm thinking, wow, I don't know what's going on, but I know something's not right. And I said, the best way to connect with her is to move with her. So I just began moving in this circle as she was moving. As I moved through here, I knew that I had to help her pretty quickly because she looked very pregnant. And I said, "When is your baby due?" She said, "2 weeks." And I said, "Oh my goodness, it's almost time." Okay, now I work with pregnant moms and babies. My attachment, I'm going to just confess this right up, is to the baby. So I am automatically thinking about the baby. If she's moving like this, what's the baby doing? So I said, "How long has it been problematic for you to move around? How long has this happened?" She said, "3 days." I said, "Do you have any idea what happened?" She said, "I got a bad batch." And I said, "Pardon me?" "I got a bad batch." And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't really know exactly what this means, but it's not good. I said, "Okay, stay the whole time, get the $5 gift card." I'm like, okay, I have to have a conversation in that. I was close to a hospital within walking distance, and I needed to get her from point A to point B to be checked because I felt like if we could get her evaluated and the baby evaluated, she was so close to delivery. I just needed her, I just wanted to take her hand and say, "Okay, come on, let's go to the emergency room." And the reason it's a difficult decision is because that mom wanted the $5 gift card and I wanted her to go to the emergency room. And so our match wasn't quite there, but I had to help in my mind, her and the baby to be safe because I didn't feel like her being in the session for one time was going to change the world. So I just had conversation with her and I said, "Could we go over and get you and the baby checked to see if there's anything they can do to help you with the bad batch?" She said, "Already been there. Don't treat me good. And I don't like it." And of course she didn't. Of course she didn't because her movements were very busy. And sometimes people don't have a tolerance for that. And it's hard because I don't know this mom. I just met her and I'm going to become her advocate because I have to. And so I said, can we just go get checked? And then if all works out, I'm going to give you this $5 gift card regardless. And so let's just go on over because I wanted to make sure she knew that I was true to my word. And we go over, I started in the emergency room instead of labor and delivery because they track the amount of bad batches and overdoses in this area. And so I went to the emergency room and it's early in the day and there were 7 people in front of me. And she said, don't wait in line, can't wait in line, can't stand in line, not going to do it. And I said, it's not a problem at all. Just walk up and down this aisle. When it's your turn, I'm going to ask you to come over. So she's walking up and down the aisle. People are in line, I'm in line. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, of all days for them to be waiting. And I said, okay, she yells, hey, everyone in the line turns around and looks at her. I said, yeah, honey. She said, hurts down here. And I said, yeah, when you're going to have a baby, it hurts. Just a second. The line parted. Everybody in front of me got out of the way. I went to the front of the line. I said, come on, it's our turn now. These nice people, let us have a turn. So we get there. I say to the people in the emergency, how can you help us? She's got a bad batch. And they looked at her and they're like, but she's pregnant. And I said, I know, but could we evaluate her so that she could, they're like, we can't see her here. We're not going to see her here. She's pregnant. Okay, so she's hearing this. She's right beside me and she's hearing this. And I said, you know what? We're in this together. And so where would you like us to go? And he looks at me. He's like, well, labor and delivery. I said, can you call ahead and let him know we're coming? So we go. And in the meantime, she's very sick at this point. So there's trash cans along the way and she's sick in a lot of trash cans. She's not doing well. Her health is not well. And the people looking at us are not, they don't have warm looks on their face. It's very difficult to be the advocate when someone is very sick. And they didn't even offer me a wheelchair. Not that she could have sat in it, but there are ways that each one of us can make someone feel valued as people. So as we're going through here, I'm just talking to her like we've been friends forever. I just continue to talk to her. I said, I know you're sick, but we're almost going up there. I just want people to know that this is a person. This is a baby. These are people, and they're precious to us. So we get to the elevator. She's having a really hard time. We get upstairs. The doors open up. The people are so glad to see me. They're like coming to me. And I'm like, I don't even know. They're like, oh my gosh, we're so glad you're here. I'm thinking, I don't understand this because we came from the emergency who didn't want us to up here and you're glad to see me. I said, oh, no, this is my mom. And they're like, yeah, we know. We've been wanting to see our case manager for a long time. I said, oh, wait. I'm not her case manager. Can you help her? Now, she had been there so many times they knew her name, but each and every time they discharged her without treatment or with minimal treatment. And I'm saying this to you because this is a difficult conversation for every single point of the way. I don't know if I handled this right. I don't know if I handled this wrong. I'm telling you this because this is a person who cared about her baby. And by the time we got upstairs, I had figured out that the baby's a boy. I also knew that she had one child taken away from Children's Services. She was very worried, but she knew this child would be taken away because the baby was exposed. So the whole process was hard for her to even let go to have this baby, knowing that the child was not going to be in her care. And so they said, well, just go down there to room 4. You don't need to go in there with her. And I said, no, I promised I would go with her. And I promise I will advocate with her. By now I've known her for 25 minutes. That's regardless of the amount of time. If we are faced with difficult conversation, we have to stay with it. And you don't give up at any cost. You stay until your commitment is finished. And so as we work through this, I ended up staying with her. I helped her get into her gown. They asked her to lay down and wait for the doctor. She couldn't lay down. She couldn't sit down. I said, honey, they mean that for if you're able to, and you're not. So just keep walking. And then when the doctor came in, they made me leave and they made me stand outside. Well, in the meantime, I'd already given her gift card. I'd already talked to her about next steps. I did everything I possibly could. And I had conversations with the doctor about her needing treatment and her needing care and her needing respect. I said, and I can stay with her. And he said, no, that's not necessary. So I said goodbye. I asked her to please keep in contact with me. I asked her to tell me. And after that, I didn't hear anything. And I struggled with it for a while, because I struggled with, was she treated appropriately? Did she get the care she needed? Did the baby get the care he needed? I just struggled. And I thought about it, and then I thought, this changed my life, because I didn't have time to prepare for her, and she's touched my life in a way that I'll never forget her. And a year and a half later, we were in session at the same time, at the same place, at the same location, and this really beautiful lady with long hair came in, and she looked around and she pointed to me across, and she told him, I want to talk to her. I had no idea who this is. I had no idea. And then it's her. It's her, and she got treatment. It's her, and she got the services she needed, and she had pictures of the boys. And okay, in my phone, I have a picture of her, and I wanted to share it on the slide today, because she said, if my story will help someone else, please share it. So if you ever want to see, I can just hold this picture up, because this woman changed my life. And because she came back, I don't know if she's clean today. I don't know because I haven't seen her since that time. But it's things like that. It's decisions and conversations that are super hard that can change our world. Not only the world of the families you serve, but the world of us. And so as you think through what difficult conversations you've had, think about if you had the opportunity to see the moms of the children you were working with when they were pregnant. What are we missing? What could we add? What could we do? Okay, Jesse, I'll shut up and keep going. Yes. Yeah, it's a hard, foster care is a really hard world. Thank you for sticking with it, because we don't know what a difference we're going to make. It's sometimes pouring a little bit in at a time, and then, wow, look what you get.
And Michelle sharing here, it's hard not knowing that ending and outcome. That's part of what makes having a difficult conversation so challenging.
And sometimes,
and Pam saying, so go ahead, Twinkle.
Oh, but sometimes when you leave that conversation, you think it's terrible, awful, horrible, and you leave it feeling bad, not knowing. And sometimes we know, and sometimes we don't know what the follow-up was.
Yeah, and Pam just pointed out, it speaks to meeting people where they are and trying to get them what they need at that time.
Yes, yeah, Pam, you're absolutely right. Okay, Jess. So our attitude about going into things matters. Like, it really matters. And these are things we know. So we know about being respectful. We know about learning. We know about being optimistic. We try to be brave. We're always truthful most of the time. And we try to be kind. And in that same breath, sometimes it doesn't come out that way to the people that we're delivering the information to. So the next situation I'm going to tell you about is a mom who was actively using and had all the signs, but she never said to me that she was using. And so through this pregnancy, I've tried to prepare people that children's services will probably be involved if you're tested at delivery. So I say that because I want to be honest that it's a hard conversation to have, and I don't like having it each and every time. And denial is really big with some of the moms I serve. So they are in denial that they're using because maybe they didn't use today, or maybe they didn't use just before they came. And the hardest part of this denial thing is that when the reality piece sneaks up, it's terrible, awful, and horrible. And I've been yelled at. Why didn't you tell me they were going to take my baby? Why didn't? And I had put like, not like really feelers, but like I had tried as best I can to open the door so that they could have a message or so that they could hear things, because I don't want anyone to have a surprise. And so the mom that I'm going to tell you about delivered at a hospital that was across town. And we were anticipating this baby's delivery, but we never got the call. And so typically a mom will call us at delivery and said, hey, my baby's here. And if it's one of my moms, I always go up to see them at the hospital because I want to see what we got. We've waited all these months. And this mom I had a really long relationship with. She came every week as well as dad. And they struggled a lot. And mom would give me hints that dad was using, but when I asked her, she didn't give me any clues about herself. But she had so many of the symptoms that dad had, it was really hard not to think that. I don't want to say that I assumed it, but I was just very concerned. So I had the conversation about the baby. She's like, you don't have to keep talking to me about that. That's not going to be a problem. And I said, okay, I just do those reminders because I don't like surprises. Well, mom delivered her baby. And instead of contacting me, she contacted our director of dads to be. And she said, my baby's been removed. They're not letting me have him and they're not letting me see him. And so David said, what happened? They say that he tested positive. And he said, oh, wow. Did you call Twinkle? And this kind of hurts on my inside in that she said no, because I didn't want to disappoint her. So when you think about that feeling of shame, yes, the feeling that, oh, like I let her down, and I kind of knew it, but I felt terrible. I didn't know how to make that right. I didn't know how to set it up where I could get back in. And that too was a difficult conversation. And so I used David because for me, if you have a partner that you work with or a team member that has a relationship with that person, I always say go through the door that's open. So I sent my baby bag and my things for her through David. And David went to the hospital to visit mom and dad. And he had the conversation about, Twinkle's going to care about you. She's going to care about the baby. But I didn't get that relationship built back. And since that delivery, I haven't heard from mom. So sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't work out. And all we have and all we do and everything for every day is our attitude is good and great, but we don't have control over how the other person will react. And so it's very, very important to remember that. So I go back to the Q-tip thing because I would never want anyone to not be able to tell me something, but she felt like she let me down. And I truly care about her. If she walked in today, I would be all over her. I know it's COVID, I'm not supposed to hug. Sometimes I accidentally do. Because the people we work with need what we have to give, but if we don't care about them, I don't know who will. And so I don't assume, oh, somebody else will care about you. I don't really need to do that because each and every person that comes into our program, I give the same, I give a rush of attention to, especially on my moms that are struggling the most. When we look at our actions, I'm a floor person. So when it says take a one down position, we're already a person of power because we have the ability to give people resources. We have ability to help them. Sometimes if children's services involved, we have the ability to make that or break that. Sometimes we're the one making those choices. When I get to talk with a mom, I always make sure that I'm at a different level than her. And I don't mean standing over her. I either sit down in the floor, I kneel down, I move down. If we're both standing up, I'll sit on a table. I do anything I can because I really want the relationship to be with the mom, with her making the decisions and me following along. Because I don't know what's best for her. And there's not a way for me to change some of the situations she's in. The only way that situations are going to be changed is if she does it. And I always look for things that we have in common. And typically in my situation, it's the baby. And I say things right out of the gate, like, I know you care about the baby. And sometimes they will say to me, well, how do you know? because you're here. And the program here is for babies. I mean, this is not a program for we're working on addiction. This is not a recovery program. This is not anything except having an education program. So when we're together and we get this time, you came because you want to have a smart baby. You came because you care about yourself. You came because, all of those things, just reminding people. So I'm finding a common ground for agreement and listening to what she's asking for. Because many of the things she asked for might be items. She might want a layette. She might want this. She might want that. It doesn't matter what she wants. If I have the ability to get her an item or diapers or whatever, I am always going to do that because I have to start somewhere. And in order for her to develop trust with me, I have to give and take, but I have to be consistent and I have to listen. And sometimes I have to repeat back several times because I can't process it. So if she says, well, he was choking me just in conversation. I hate it when he just chokes me. I might bring another coworker in, and typically it's David. I said, David, help me understand this. She just doesn't like it when dad chokes her. Now, you could freak out over that. That's a huge freak out moment. But because she said it so casually, it happens. Like, she doesn't like to be choked. Okay, so you can't, I'm like, oh my God. No, sit down, calm down, take a breath, and listen. Does she want to stay? Does she want to go? What can we do to help her? How can we help dad? That's where we have to approach these difficult situations, and having someone else hear it with you. I know if you're doing home visiting, that's not possible, but if you're in a setting where two people can hear the same thing, sometimes it helps me to just process through it.
Yeah, can I chime in, Twinkle?
Oh yeah.
I think this is such a hard thing. And some of this is me knowing myself. When I start to get stressed, those of you who know me, what do? You saw it today. I start talking. It's just what I do. And so that listening from like recognizing in myself and then listening to stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's so hard. So I like that idea of pulling in someone else to help you listen to it. Or I know sometimes if I'm in that spot all by myself, maybe I don't have someone to listen to me at the time, but then I can use some of that get supervision or peer support or peer counseling to be like, this is what I heard. What did you hear? What would you hear? How can we do this? Help me think through this. Help me process my reaction so that I can make sure that I'm, helping the parent. But I think that's just that seek first to understand is such an important thing that I know personally, I don't know if others feel this way, but when you say that, it really it registers with me because it's so hard. And I see Alicia saying you always have to step back, even if it's in your head, yes, and think, wait, what's my role? What can I do to help right now? So true. It's so challenging.
And for those of us that you could read our face, that's really hard. I have to tell my face before I tell my brain, because when someone says I'm being choked, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You're being but you can't, because then I'll lose everything. So I think to myself, don't react. She's calm about this. How can I be calm about this? I need somebody else to hear this. Those are things that I know too about myself that I want to help her immediately. Do you realize this is not normal? Do you realize not all of us get choked every, those are things that you just want to jump in, but we always can't. And then being factual and assertive. So you might not think that you're assertive. You might not have the personality to feel like that's your style. And when I think about this statement, the one that was brought up where we, children's services, we really do have to call them. And the being assertive on that, it's a difficult conversation every single time, no matter how it slices out. And so when I've been faced with that, and the moms are right with me, so they're right next to me, and they tell me something, I have to process it, and I have to figure out a way to get to the end result, which is I need to make this call. I'm not one for surprises, so I keep mom involved in this, and I take the full blame. So when I say the blame, when I hear her say that the children are at home by themselves, the dad left him there, I have to pause and I restate it. Are they at home by themselves right now? That's why I hate him staying with her dad. Okay. So because you told me that, I have to call. I have to make this call because they could be not safe. But I only know what you told me. Oh, I didn't want you to call. I wasn't asking for nothing like that. I'm gonna see if somebody can go get them. I said, okay, but we can't go there. That's not. We have to make sure that they're safe, and it's my responsibility to call because I heard they were alone, and they're all three under 3, so they couldn't get out even in case of emergency. Oh no, I'll just leave now. I said, okay, before you leave, let's go ahead and call. I'm gonna call and just say what I heard because I'm really concerned about them. And so I go through my process. She may or may not want to call. She may or may not want to go. If she leaves, then I still have to call. So that assertiveness, but I always want her to know that I wouldn't call against her. I'm not going to do this behind her back. I know if it's parent, I know that you have to do that sometimes. It's not behind their back. It's that you have to think safety first. But it is a difficult decision. It is a difficult conversation because you don't know how she's going to react. Andrea, I missed the chat. Will you help me out?
Yes, there's a ton of stuff going on in the chat, a lot of great side conversations. So Michelle was just kind of pointing out, kind of reflecting on a point that Katie made, that inevitably our feelings and the feelings from whoever we're working with are at the forefront, and just kind of talked about that in your situation. And Sue, who's one of our nurse navigators, shared, I think moms sometimes want to see your reaction. Are you going to judge them? Whose side are you going to take? So sharing your emotions isn't always a bad thing. So she said saying something like, I wouldn't like to be choked either, may open the conversation further.
And Alicia lets the parents know right in the beginning. From the first time they meet, they might have to report. And we all do this a little different. And however you do it, if it works for you, please, please, please continue. It's tricky. It's hard on all of us. And the emotional piece is there again, because we're always filtering, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right call? Each and every time I struggle with this. Jesse? When we try to work toward a win-win solution, we want that to happen, but we might not always get there. When we, sometimes we have to agree to disagree. And that's a hard situation to be in, especially when someone raises their voice or just really gets upset in front of a group and you're the one at the other end of that. It's hard. It's hard to summarize and talk about what we agreed on and this we're going to work on. You can write a written plan if you have time, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, that's not something that we always have time to work through, because sometimes one of the parties just leaves. If it's too difficult, if it's too emotional, if they're upset, they just have to step away from it. And that's not a bad thing. We can't keep people where they don't want to be. And so we have to make sure that we are respectful of them, as well as firm or stand for whatever we need to get done. So that's often very difficult. So in summary, we're going to talk a bit about self-care. Can't talk too much about that because I'm not great at it, but I try every day to do something for myself. And for me, that's taking a walk at the end of the day just to debrief. And when I had a stressful day, I was going over it with Andrea. She's like, and what are you going to do today? What are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to walk. She said, do you like that? Does that make you feel better? And really it does, because it's mindless. And I just walk and I just look around, and it doesn't work for everybody, but it's something that I've included in my daily routine because I have to. It's like the only time I have to just get myself together. We always try to be prepared. And sometimes when things are thrown at you, you have to dance a little bit to figure out what's going on. Use a Q-tip method. This one's, We have to check ourselves first. Be assertive. Highlight all your agreements. And above all, without a doubt, value the relationship more than the outcome. Because our world, our jobs are built on relationships. They're built on that connection piece. And if our families don't trust us or won't be together or don't want the next meeting with us, we've lost everything. So as we talk through things, it's so, so, so very important that we're consistent and that we're truthful and that we're always looking out for and being an advocate for the families we serve. This is from John, and you know he always has cute jokes. I wish you well. Say it in his manner.
Thank you so much, Twinkle. Lots of great tips and things to think about. And hey, with that, so don't forget, Jessie will send the evaluation out. We ask you to do those. If you need that continuing education credit, email Jessie so that she can make sure that she gets you the credit that you need for that. And then we will meet again in 2 weeks for our discussion on intergenerational trauma. And thank you again, Twinkle, for being a fabulous colleague and friend who was willing to help pinch it and provide an amazing case for us to really think about today.
Oh my goodness, thank you for the pages and pages on my sticky notes that I'm gonna organize and get working on.
And Jessie's been taking notes too, so she can help kind of get them to you so you can see them in form. And they'll also be, for anyone else who'd be interested, if you log on to our site on WyoLearn, you can always get access to recordings as well as the descriptions and recommendations. All right, I hope you guys all have a great week.